reportedly, those who sought to attack the armed team were reportedly led by the assembly member, and they were, pelting stones, at the team. Well, they managed to overcome them, and so arrests have been made, and we are told that about 5 people are feared dead in this situation. When you hear that there will be a ruthless fight, what's your level of trust in that, pronouncement?
At this stage, let me say I'm still very skeptical. There are three issues that have to be dealt with and have to be dealt with simultaneously. This, what the community mining, responsible mining, this is all about the benefits of mining in the community. This has been a long-standing contestation. What you have in Niger Delta with oil and all of those things, it's the same issue. People are in their villages, concessions are given, people come and mine, they leave. The town is as it was 100 years ago. And the longer people see this disparity and this unfairness, they are willing to do things that, ordinarily communities will not do in order to make a stake. Illegal mining has offered that pathway, but it is then opened up a whole level of criminality that also has to be tackled with enforcement. Then you have the regulation part, that even if you're doing the responsible mining, how are you going to ensure that you don't actually, increase the externalities that is being created by all these illegalities in the communities? At the moment, the licensing regime that went on created so many mining, you couldn't even tell between what is legal and illegal anymore. I'm sure even when you begin to look at boundaries, it becomes a problem. I think the challenge for me in the intervention with everything that the state does is, a policy like that, I want to see a document that tells me this is the objective that we are pursuing. These are the targets. These are the ways in which we can show evidence.
We're being told that the difference between this responsible mining project and the community mining, which was also supposed to be for responsible mining under the previous regime, is that the community mining, you had people in town going to be the ones who were taking over whatever it was, setting up the community for the mining. But now they want the indigenes themselves, to own what they do, like a cooperative.
Sure. And is it the idea that when they own it, they'll be more responsible? Because it's not given. If somebody doesn't regulate it the same way they will regulate Newmont, people will still take advantage, and if they have to use mercury, to get what they want, because people can see the money, and if they are willing to kill themselves, what now that they even don't have the military or whoever behind them, why would they act differently?
The issue has been also that in the community mining program, the community members cannot afford an excavator and all those things to do what they need to do. That's why people who could afford were infiltrating and being the owners. So now they say the community will own it by themselves, the indigenes. And they are creating what they call common user facilities. Yeah. One of the things that Dr. Bamia was preaching, gave a lot of popularity to. So that's some solution, isn't it?
No, it's because, you see, I've dealt with communities for many, and we are all here. Any kind of resource that comes into any community, there's always big people in there who will have a say as to who control it. In government, you can go and put the rules there and all of that thing. At the end, natural order would structure what happens there. It's going to be captured by local politicians if you don't have specific interventions to counteract that. So the fact that you have taken away bigger politicians, but the local politicians who are capturing it, where do you think they are getting their money from? They're getting it from bigger politicians and bigger business people who are not necessarily the community. So what I believe, we're trying to say is that all of these things are the right way to go. I think all the approaches, responsible mind, because you need to address the unfairness that is going on. You have to address the illegality, which now is connected to terrorism from the Sahel. It's opening up. Now if we don't take care, we'll have a Niger Delta on our hands. This clip that you were showing of community members, as soon as they get radicalized and they begin to get weapons for themselves, which is already happening, there are actually protection teams now that are being formed to go and protect people.
In fact, Anabisiu also went to one place and he was confronted by these guys.
So very soon, you start seeing more deaths. Because when the communities now see the state as the enemy that they need to fight in order for them to secure whatever, there's a lot of engagement. That's why I agree with Honorable when he's saying that there has to be a lot of talking even as you are trying to deal with the criminality.
All right.
The chiefs all have to be involved. So what I listen to all the conversations that we are not agreed on how to measure progress, because the systems of reporting and monitoring is being done in silos. We should be doing it together so that we already missed the rainy season now. Because if we had said that, okay, for these communities where there is intense galamsey, we even had targeted state of emergency. And the state of emergency for me is a posture. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but it's just the posture of the state that, okay, this area is we want to reduce this water quality. The mercury is already hitting the water table in certain places. So we are far beyond, measure. We need to take very drastic action. So I believe that the state of emergency is really just, for me, as I said, it's a posturing. And we need to still declare that what do we want to see change in the next 6 months in this area. And we all have to be able to ascertain that it has happened. We don't want the anti-illegal galamsey task force
you were
to come
talking
and give
about
a different report.
You were talking about something. How do we treat that bit of it? The involvement of the high-ups, the politicians. Yeah. You, together with Asela, did this finding sometime in 2019 or 2020.
Financing, yes.
And you found that to prosecute a successful presidential campaign, you needed to spend not less than $100 million. Yeah. Well, some of the politicians, debated you and said it could be around 45, 50 million.
It's probably 150 now.
Now your new research says you need as much as $150 million to prosecute a successful campaign. The parliamentarians also need
at least $600,000
US dollars.
Yeah.
When you did this survey, you also were able to trace that some of the campaign financing came from galamsey. Speak to me. How do we resolve this? Can we resolve it?
Oh, yes, we can. We can. For me, the perversion, and I think, this is something that the parties must confront. And they themselves know what is happening in the parties in terms of party capture is that money has taken over the parties. So, because we are talking about reforming political financing, if somebody comes and brings you money, knowing wherever it's coming from galamsey, it's coming from what they call the fraud boys, it's coming, and they all have an objective. They want to be protected by the law from doing so. A police officer, somebody calls and says, "Oh, leave him. It's part of our people." Okay, right? And people are seeing it. These things happen, and people are making calculations that, this is the fastest way to secure protection from the state and all of that stuff. So for me, what has just happened here is the two parties saying we have reached a point of consensus that we really need to deal with it now. The environment is ripe for it. Everybody is aligned. The issue then is, if we take these measures, please, nobody should come and interfere. Because there's no way you can justify, as a party, an individual, that you destroy our water tables, you destroy our environment and all of those things because it will help you promote the party. Even if the MPP made that calculation, it didn't benefit them in the election. So, if for me, it is what they said as a central crisis, it is exactly that is, and for water, it's life. You don't know what water is coming down your pipes in Accra currently, with all the kinds of chemicals that are going into the water table. So I believe that the president, that's why I said I want to see a document. I want to see an integrated system for monitoring.
Okay.
So that we can all say we have made progress.
Okay.
In 6 months or a year.
Right. Inisa wants to say something briefly, and then we take a break and then return to look at other issues. But when we should